You know, people think stripping Google off their phone makes them safer. But the truth is, it can actually make you stand out more than you ever imagined. Because when political tides shift, when priorities change, or when a new lens gets applied to old data, being the one device that doesn't fit the mold can take you places you were never meant to be. Let's break this open. Hey, security researcher here once again. Thanks for checking out this video. Let's start with a little real talk before we dive into this one. Because whether people notice it or not, certain groups in this country have recently been labeled as domestic threats. And when the political environment shifts like that, anyone who's doing things like stripping their phone down, de-Googling their device, or running a custom operating system in the name of privacy can actually end up standing out more, not less. And I want to make sure that I'm crystal clear about this. You're not just making yourself noticeable. You could be drawing a level of attention that you never asked for, never intended to trigger, simply because the system flags behavior patterns, not motives. For context, this video is actually 2 segments pulled from a much longer discussion. Instead of making you dig through a 2-hour-long interview, I'm breaking it into focused pieces so that you can follow each part clearly without getting buried. This specific segment zeroes in on one of the most misunderstood ideas in the privacy space: why de-Googling phones and custom operating systems can make you stand out more, not less. And once we unpack that, we move straight into the bigger systems behind all of it. The post-9/11 architecture, the legacy of a government program called Total Information Awareness, how modern data fusion actually works, and how things like micro-expression tracking are used to build real-time psychological profiles of all of us, whether you know it or not. All of that said, let's get into it.
I know I saw that video you did where you talked about how the de-Googled phone would be more of a red flag, and I'm curious if you want to go over that.
Sure. When you de-Google a phone, you're essentially stripping the operating system off of the phone. And in order to understand why that's a problem, there's a partition processor. It used to be 2 separate processors, but on most phones, there's a partition processor. There's what they call an application processor that runs all of your apps, plays your games, allows you to browse the web. And then there's the baseband processor. And the baseband processor takes care of all the communication between your phone and the network. You can do things that impact the application side of the processor or processors, but you can't do anything to interact with the baseband side of the processors. So while you may be stripping the operating system off, there's still stuff that's hard-coded in the hardware of your device that you're never really going to be able to get rid of. It's built into the hardware itself. So when you replace the operating system, if you brought up a map and queried all the phones in the area, which at the network level and higher, meaning once you get into like law enforcement and government, you can query an entire area and pull up all the phones in an area. And you can pull up information about each one of those phones. And one of the things that you can find out is the operating system that's operating on the phone. Well, if I have 1,000 phones and 995 of them are using standard vanilla operating systems, but 5 of them for some reason are using either Graphene or, why am I drawing a blank on it? What's the other one? Anyway, Graphene or another operating system.
Graphene's the main one, so.
Yeah, Graphene's the main one. If you're using an alternate operating system, why would be my question. So you're really kind of putting a spotlight on yourself because you're not vanilla anymore. You're sticking out. You're the oddball in the mixture, the peppercorn in a salt shaker. You really do stand out. Because the question is going to be, why are you taking these extra steps? Why did you go out and learn how to pull the old operating system off and put on a new one? What is it that you're trying to hide? And that's what it would do to any analyst that's looking at the situation and they see that you're running a bunch of non-vanilla operating systems is probably the best way to state it.
So yeah, the small movements on the face. Can we go over that?
Micro expressions?
Yes.
So there's an industry, I guess we have to take this back a bit. Right after 9/11, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, brought forward a program called Total Information Awareness. And it is literally what it sounds like. What they were trying to do was merge government and private corporate databases together to collect as much information as they can on all of us. If you guys are bored, go look up the logo for TIA. It's an all-seeing eye overlooking the world. I mean, they were very obvious about what they were trying to do. And Congress struck it down and said that it's not within constitutional limitations. So they defunded the program officially. But what ended up happening was they basically privatized the collection side of it, because while it's illegal for government to collect information on you, it's not illegal for private businesses, especially ones that you give permission by clicking agree without reading the terms of service. You just gave them permission to do all the collection for them. And then what those private companies do, including the one that this is being hosted on right now and its parent company, you gave them permission to do all the collection and then sell it to third parties. And those third parties could be data brokers or they could be government agencies. And what a lot of these guys are doing is just providing access, almost near real-time access to your devices directly to government as an end run around any sort of constitutional protections that you have at all. So they commercialize the entire process. And what your device is really doing through the applications is analyzing you. A lot of people have heard about Palantir. And Palantir is really doing a lot of the absorption and analysis of all of this data that's being collected on us. And you're really, truly being analyzed. They're doing socio-psychological analysis of every single person that they possibly can. And they're building profiles on all of us. So when they do emotional analysis through things like micro-expression analysis, it's really, truly just to understand what makes you tick. That's how bad this has become. And most of this is because people went, well, my life's boring. I don't care if they spy on me. And they went, okay, cool. As long as you're cool with us spying on you, we're going to build an industry that's projected to be worth almost $10 trillion by 2035. So when people think about it, it's one of the things that kind of makes me laugh when everybody's like, hey, we should have universal income and stuff. You guys gave away so much valuable information by saying, I don't care, my life is boring, let them spy on me, that they've built companies larger than nation states off of that data that no one cared about. We really screwed up when we allowed that to happen. I mean, I get the psychology behind it. At the time, 9/11 had just happened. People were scared. Government officials came out and said, as long as you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about. So we all just parroted that back and forth to each other. And anybody that raised any questions, the response was, what are you, with the terrorists? So we were really kind of bludgeoned into this. But this is where we find ourselves now, is we're in a situation where we have a massive multi-trillion-dollar industry that's based on studying people through their technology. And nobody wants you to know that. The social media companies don't want you to know that. The device manufacturers don't want you to know that. The application people don't want you to know that. The government doesn't want you to know that. The application people don't want you to know that. Nobody wants you to understand that, because once you start to realize the world that you're actually living in, you're going to start to behave differently around your technology. And that's their biggest concern, because all of a sudden the value of the information that they're collecting starts to fall off. And once you're really starting to act differently around your technology, then you have a situation where the value of your information really has no value, because you're hip to it. You understand what's happening, and you're acting in a way that's trying to minimize your exposure, and that causes a problem for them.
All right, if you made it through this segment, you're already ahead of most people. Most folks never stop long enough to question how any of this actually works, how the phone in their hand, the apps they trust, or the systems wrapped around their daily lives are shaping them. But if you're here, listening, connecting the dots, then you're the type of person that this channel is for. And let me be straight with you, I'm not working off Google searches or Reddit threads. I've been around this world a long time, long enough to know the difference between hype, paranoia, and what's actually happening inside the technology that we all use. And I'm not the only one. I know people across this space, engineers, analysts, operators, researchers, people who build these systems, people who study these systems, people who evade these systems, and people who watch from the shadows. If there's a question worth answering, I can bring the right voice to the conversation. Because at the end of the day, this is why I talk about these things in plain English.
Not to scare people, not to lecture, but because the average person deserves to understand the world that they're living in. And if you want to go deeper into the specifics behind all of this, the actual methods, the mechanics, the sensors, permissions, and emotional modeling, I walk through all of that in 10 documented ways your phone spies on you. That video is fully cited. Every claim has an on-screen reference. Nothing is speculation. I break each method down step by step so you can see exactly how your phone is used against you in the real world. If you want to understand how innocent apps get weaponized in spyware and domestic abuse cases, or how stingrays and MC catchers track phones at the network level, I got full breakdowns on those too. All 3 videos will be linked at the end and in the description down below. Before you go, I want one thing from you, your perspective. These topics aren't easy to keep visible. They're not trendy, and the platforms themselves don't prioritize conversations that make people more aware and less predictable. So I need to hear from you directly. What concerns you? What confuses you? What part of this world feels foggy, whether it's phone surveillance, data collection, emotional telemetry, or something you've noticed that doesn't sit right? Tell me in the comments. Your questions are going to shape the direction of this channel. And the more I understand what you're actually running into out there, the more precise I can be in breaking all of this down, clearly, calmly, and without noise. If this helps you see the world a little bit differently, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's asking the same questions that you are. Until we speak to each other again, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and be aware of what you're doing when you're inviting technology into your life.